Hi guys, welcome along. Day one of Royal Ascot is in the bag. It was a cracking day's racing. We seen Palace Pier kick off the day's proceedings, getting Frankie off to a flyer. He wasn't overly impressive, but he never really looked like he was ever going to be beaten. So he done what he had to do. He's Queen Anne winner, and got favoured backwards off to a flyer. The 5 furlong Group 1 then with the way of Kieran Fallon in the saddle for Roger Teal, Oxted. What a fantastic success that was. I was willing to take on Batash during the week. I just took it on with the wrong horse. But what a story this young fella is. He's living up to the hype. He's big boots to fill, but he's setting his own boundaries now. And he gave that horse a cracking ride today. Poetic flair, what can we say? What a performance. Jim Bulger, he is one of the shrewdest men in the game, and it just proven today. Kevin Manning, the ripe old age, I think he's 54, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong there, but he's riding as good as he ever is. And this horse, the races he's ran, tough races. You love to see horses grind like that, and he was the only winner in the race today. Nothing would have beaten him today. Jessica Harrington's Lucky Vega ran a solid enough race again. Very good second, and Battleground was third. So it's nice to see Battleground coming back to form. He was our selection in the race. But that was day one. We're on to day two, and it is again a 2:30 start. The Prince of Wales Stakes is the feature on the race. Is the feature race of the day. But the first race I'm going to take a look at is the first race on the card. It's the Queen Mary. The Group 2 fillies over 5 furlongs, so they are going to go fast and furious in this. We have 22 runners lining up here. Look, Wesley Ward, he runs a couple here. He brings over a lot of, it's all 2-year-olds he nearly always brings over, and he has won this race 3 of the last 6 times, so whatever he runs here, it will take a little beating. I see Twilight Gleaming there for Johnny Velasquez in the saddle in the colours of Acapulco, who was a previous winner of this race. She's got a lovely draw. But look, I'm going to go for a bit of value in the race. I have a couple of selections here just at Eve-way prices. Get Ahead for Clive Cox and Adam Kirby. They love having juvenile winners at this meeting, and especially over the distance. She's the only course and distance winner. She's only one start. As I said, she won over the course and distance back in May. The third horse has gone on to win since, so the form is ranked. Not an ideal draw, but it's not. She's a bit of an each-way player just to see if she gets a good run. I can see her being right there in the mix. One I'm very sweet on each way is the Gavin Carman trained Quick Susie. She's got a nice draw on 18. She was beaten by a lovely little filly of Dunica's on debut in Tipperary, but she then bolted up in a Curran Maiden over 6, showed plenty of speed that day, won by 5.5 lengths, and then went on to be second in the Group 3 the last time. She's got 3 very, very good runs and solid runs. She's a lovely draw. Gary Carroll takes the mount here. He's riding out of his skin at the minute. And Gavin Cornwell, he knows how to have winners on both codes. So yeah, she's about 14 to 1 as well. She's another each way player for me. There is one just at a massive price. Evans trains it in the hands of Shane Kelly. She's got a good draw. If we remember, this filly bolted up on debut and was absolutely annihilated in the market. She was 40 to 1, I think, 20 minutes before the race, and ended up, I think, 100 to 30 favourite. She won well that day, shy. That could be another one to run well at a price if it steps up from its first run. And obviously, they thought a lot of it. Had we seen that day, she was super, super strongly supported. That brings us to the second race on the card. It's the Queen's Vase Group 2 over mile 6. And I find Wordsworth here is going to be a tough one to beat for Aidan O'Brien. He's a full brother to Kew Gardens, and Kew Gardens actually won this race, so he's a bit of a family reputation to uphold. He was second on his first start to High Definition and the Cora, and then returned. He actually went to the Cora and broke his maiden very, very well that day. Yeah, I think he could be the one to beat here. Ryan Moore in the plate. But Aidan's other horse, Artur Toscanini, this is a horse now that we selected in the Cora the last day in the Golnial Stakes at about 14 to 1. I think it was a 16 to 1. And I was very impressed with this horse's debut win last year in the Cora. Now it was over 7. But he was favoured for one of the favourites for one of the Derby trial stakes in Newmarket and ran absolutely atrocious that day. He then went to the Gallinor Stakes, as I said, in the Cora. That was over mile 2, so a big step up again in trip, and he ran a cracker that day. I think he needs the trip definitely. Looking at him that day, he looked like he was actually going to be. He was second turning in, and I think 3 furlongs down he ended up being fourth. But Wayne Lorden, who rode the horse that day, and he's riding again today, he knows the horse well, stuck with him, and he came out of the pack to finish second to a very, very good horse, Johnny Mortes. So, and he's an each-way player there for me, Artur Toscanini, but Wordsworth, I 1-2 for Aidan O'Brien. How about that? To be the dream, wouldn't it? That brings us to the 340. It's the Duke of Cambridgeshire. It's Group 2 for fillies and mares over a mile. Now, leading fancy here is from the Willie Jarvis stable, Lady Bowerthorpe. She was a very good second to Palace Pier the last day. She's going to take all the beating, but I'm going to take her on. That Boyle Sports finished in second or third to the SP5 offer. I would kick it in here. Queen Power, first Sir Michael Stout. 2 starts ago, she was only beaten ahead by the favourite. She ran a bit green that day. I think it might cost her the race. But since then, she bolted up in a Group 2 fillies in York. Now, it was over mile 2. She's come back to the mile. Don't think that's going to be a problem. Sir Michael Stout. I watched a little bit of a preview with him the other night. He was very sweet on her during the week. She's 9 to 2, and for me, she could be a little bit of a value in the race here. That brings us to the feature race of day 2. It's the Prince of Wales Stakes. It's a Group 1 over mile 1. 7 runners line up here. But we have last year's champion 3-year-old filly, mare, Love, from the Aidan O'Brien stable. What can I say? The mare done exactly what any one of us would love to have a mare last year would do. She's by Galileo. She ran only 3 times last year. She won 3 times, 3 Group 1s, 2 Classics, and the Yorkshire Oaks. She's won the Guineas over a mile. She won the Oaks over a mile and a half, and the Yorkshire Oaks over a mile and a half. So she's versatile with trip. Mile 1 shouldn't be a problem. Lord North, I think for John Gosling, will be her main danger. She gets the mare's allowance here. She's 6 to 4. I would like, if she goes 7 to 4, 2 to 1, she's going to be super price. But if she comes back to that form last year, that's the only danger that we haven't seen her since last year. But I'd imagine this was going to be her, obviously, her first run. Her first run last year was in the Guineas, and she absolutely bolted up. So I think Ryan Moore, he's absolutely poetry in motion on this filly. So she gets my vote here, Love. That finishes the main races of the day. We have a couple of handicaps to finish off the card. The 5 o'clock is the Royal Hunt Cup. This is one of the cracking handicaps on the card. 30 runners lined up here over a mile. It's a race has thrown up some surprises in the past, and I'm going to go with a surprise one here. I have a 50 to 1 shot here for Richard Hannon, Uzo, in the hands of Sean Levy. Down the bottom of the weights, a nice draw. It's run the last day wasn't one that we should be talking about even. It was terrible, actually. But has some very useful form. I can see putting up a very good performance if we can forgive that last run. She's a very nice draw. She can win from the front, or she's won from coming off the pace. So I think she's versatile in what way the race will be ran. So look, 50 to 1, a little bit of a fun each way selection there. Uzo. That brings us to The Windsor Castle. It's a listed contest for 2-year-olds over 5 furlongs. Again, they're going to be going super fast here. Look, Wesley Ward, he has some runners lining up here. They're well drawn. That's the thing about these 2-year-old races, is a lot of it relies on the draw. His 2 runners here are super. They've got super draws, and they're going to take a bit of whacking here. Johnny Velasquez's mount, Golden Bell, and Frankie Dettori's mount, Rutten. Rutten has been a bit of a talking horse again all week, so I'd be very, very worried. Wesley he could have a winner here. Just one that, well, I have 2 each ways here. Richard Hannon's Amour, 12-1. Poor draw, that's the only thing. Was a winner on debut in Doncaster, and since that the form has been frank. The second and the third have gone on to win. So look, the draw, Pat Dobbs in the saddle, I think it could outrun its odds. And then I have another one there from the Michael O'Callaghan stable, Admiral D, in the hands of Lee Roach. Stepped up from his debut. He was a 37 sterling boy at the breeze ups. Poor draw, but I can see outrunning its odds again. That brings us to the last race on the card. It is the Palace Stakes. It's a handicap for fillies and mares over 7 furlongs. One here that could run well at a price is declared interest for trainer Rafe Beckett. Rob Hornby takes the mount, a very, very capable rider, 12-1. Was last seen winning a very competitive handicap in Leicester, and Raf's horses always comes on from their run, so I would be definitely taking a little bit of a chance each way in the last with declared interest. So those are my selections for day 2. Again, I'm very much looking forward to the feature race. Hopefully Love comes back to her form last year, puts in a stellar performance, and hopefully we see some very exciting juveniles. Again, guys, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will talk to you again tomorrow for day 3. Cheers, guys.